Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Hallé with Witness the Light Music. Thank you for checking me out. I'm going to be doing a mix breakdown here for a song that I mixed, practice mix, for an artist out of Colombia. So this specific, I came across the stems from a group that I'm a part of, and I was able to mix this record. And I loved how it sounded. I even hit up the artist; he loved how it sounded. But this isn't the official released version. This is just my version of this mix. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you the rough. Here we go. The rough. Here we go.
Olvido tu olor a Chanel que queda impregnado en mi piel. Tus labios dulces como la miel, toditos tus gemidos me los tatué. Dime cuándo te vuelvo a ver para repetirlo otra vez. Mi amor, que a ti tengo sed. Si nos gustamos mucho, bebé, no perdamos más tiempo, abramos el...
All right, so the rough, you can clearly see that it's not a they did their own balances on it. There's not much EQ going on. I feel like it's honestly a very rough version of the song. So I'm gonna play back what I did here. I'm gonna skip to the first verse, and I'll go into my mix. Here we go.
Olvido tu olor a Chanel que quedó impregnado en mi piel. Tus labios dulces como la miel, toditos tus gemidos me los tatué. Dime cuándo te vuelvo a ver para repetirlo otra vez. Mi amor, que a ti tengo sed. Si nos gustamos mucho, bebé, no perdamos más tiempo, veamos el sol caer. Que se repita la ocasión.
All right. So that's what we have. That's what we had to work with. I'm gonna close adapter here, and I'll show you the session. So as typical, my Mixbus starts at the top. I know some people like their stuff at the bottom, but I like my stuff at the top. And my Mixbus is going to have a basics of some EQ, taking out the mids. My API, I mix into the API, makes things sound nice and bright for me. I like that. And then a mastering EQ to give me a little bit of a lift. My Pultec, which gives me, I guess I'm not doing anything with it. Oh yeah, I'm lifting the top end. The Ozone 10 Dynamics EQ, controlling some of the resonance in the lower mids and the highs, and then the a single SSL compressor going into the God particle, into a limiter, into another limiter. That would be the mastering chain, but at this point, I'm not going to activate that. I think I'd probably fry my computer if I did that. All right, so let's start with, that was the mix bus. What I want to do is I'm going to start going through some of the instrumentation and bypassing some plugins so we can sort of hear what was done and kind of have an idea of why I did that. With this being a fairly easy mix in the sense that I didn't have to go too heavy with certain things. I didn't use that many plugins. I usually sometimes use, 2 times as this, depending on what needs to be done. But this one is specifically, more or less space plugins versus trying to fix things, because things were already sounding pretty good. So let's start off with the bass and the kick. So Reggaeton has a specific tone, specific style of punch with its kick, especially when it comes to the kick almost be competing in volume with the snare. We want to make sure that all those things are on lock, and this version, this song specifically, doesn't even have a shaker or a hat in it. So you kind of have to find that sort of, I'd say, top end to the drums with the kick and the snare. So let me play back what the kick and the snare sounded like without any processing. Let me play it with the bass, sub bass. So this is the process I did on the kick. This bump here, 1,000, is intended to get that snap out. And then from there, a little bit of transient designing. Just to wake up a little bit of that initial hit. Then from there, knock. This one's going to give me more punch as well. A little bit of clipping. You could tell here that the level matching had to be done on the out, because if I didn't level match that, the kick would be already very loud level. So you always have to level match, bring things down a bit to control what you have. Let me tell you about Click Boom. This woke my kick up. So I got it 4 dB with a crunch, a little bit of sensitivity, and I chose from 11.7K to about 2.5K to enhance and to crunch. Bypassed. And now activated. Click Boom. Awesome little plugin. Grab that from DJ Swivel. Coffee Pun. This is the Acoustica Pultec. So what I did was I boosted my 90 hertz, 10 dB boost in the 6.8K range. So now tonally, I got everything where I want it. Now I have to do a little bit of, I would say, let's go into some compression. How I treated the kick with compression. I'm not getting much out of this one. I think what happened was I activated it, did what I wanted. Just with the X valve comp. There we go. Then from there, the black box. Little bit more crunch, which works well with the genre. All right, from there, we have now the bass. So with the bass, I reduced that area in the bass there to make some space for the kick. And then from there, the Voice of God, Great Resonance, Bass Resonance tool. So this one was actually a trick that I learned from the man, David Young and Kim. So he went and he found the lowest in volume, in harmonic presence hit of the bass. Let's see if we can find it ourselves. I think it's these ones here. Right? So then from there, you crank the amplitude and then you sweep. Around here. Then you bring it down half. So now what's happening is that frequency is being resonated. It's just sort of a little beefier, boomier, perfect for what we want. Bypass it. Check it out. Now, if you have listening on speakers or your earbuds or even on headphones, I know you heard that. Now we're going over to the big distortion engine from DJ Swivel again. Let's see what it's doing here. So I think on second take, I think what I would do is I would add a little bit more. A little bit more. All right, so let's see. So the snare had a little bit of information at the top end that was kind of hurting my ear a bit. Didn't want that. So you reduce that with some dynamic EQ, Pro Q4 shoutouts. And now we have a little bit of control also in the 2K range. And here had a little bit of boxiness in the snare. Let's just see what that sounds like now. So I wanted to darken it up a bit. There's a higher frequency on that snare that when it gets cranked up a bit, oh yeah, it hurts. So I wanted more. So curves equator, just to control those frequencies. Like that. And then just for some compression, control a little bit more of the dynamic range of the snare, add some intelligent dynamics, tilting over to the highs a bit more. And then we can bypass it all. The drum bus. This here is going to be knock, using it to really get some of the power out of the snare, using a lot of the air to bring up the higher end frequencies, and then saturation just to give it a sizzle, punch for the transient, and the clip with the adjustment on the out. Here we go, let's listen. Huge difference. And some compression. A little bit of an adjustment there. Not too bad at all. And then the VSM3, this is for more saturation. All right, nice. I have this set on higher and full. The second harmonic, the third harmonic, and then I'm driving the sound nice and crispy and I would say cooked up a bit, you know? JST clip. This was intended to give me some more volume, but also control as well. Here we go, let's listen. I'm doing some gain reduction on it as well. So you can hear it, control it a bit more. All right, so that's it for the percussive elements. It's kick, sub bass. Let's see what we got here. Okay, now I can't forget my parallel snare. I am running into my crush. This is my parallel snare chain. DBX 160, crushing the living snot out of it. And then the API, give me some snare 4. You just go up here, drums, snare 4. It gives me that tone. I like that. Nice little amount. And then some from crushing to adding. And we have a little bit of attack there. More. Same thing with the kick. My kick sending it 100% out to here. So from my, you can see here, from my parallel out to here, the DBX crushing it. We got now the Pultec. I'm choosing 30 to give me a little bit of thump, boosting 7 and attenuating 2.5. The SPL transient to give me some attack, and I'm killing the sustain because all I want is just the punch of that kick. Let's see what it sounds like. Brings things up and makes things alive. Now moving on to the instrumentation. Let's listen to the keys. I'm going to fly by here. I'm going to show you just a minor treatment that I did to it. Taking out a little bit of this muddiness. Now some dynamics. This great little free plugin freebie for all you Waves fanatics like myself. Let's see what the melody's doing. So this one was interesting because the production was made so it was sort of panning all. A lot of it was off to the right. So I was like, you know, I kind of like having things that are somewhat symmetrical. So I decided to use a width knob. Gave it a different dimension. All right. And then this arpeggiator. Again, it's panning off to the right. So instead I just left it and I just gave it some compression. These plucks were interesting. These plucks were interesting because they also were panned off to the right a bit. And so what I did was I added what I could. EQ, just to control a little bit of that lower mids, 200, 300s, 200s area. With some compression. Again, easy, quick and easy. And then I grabbed that file, I cut it up, and I duplicated it, and I threw it on the exact same channel like that. Duplicated the channel, pluck, duplicate. And then from there, if you can take a look here, we also added the width knob, and you can guess it, I swapped things over. So now, trying to add some movement on this pluck. We're making it go left and right. All right, so that's the instrumentation. That's it. All right, so now while everything is playing, Radiator. It's giving me a little bit of the boost in the treble. Radiator is great for some saturation, some warmth, warm some things up. Spectre, boosting the sides, 527. All right, not too much. Center. I didn't do much with this one. All right, I'll take it off. Fatso for my compression. Let's kind of glue things together. Could have boosted out a bit there just to keep the gain reduction on. Now that I went through the instrumentation, this is what all that sounds like together. Let's do it.